Hello and welcome to the Big Bad Bike Show, the ultimate motorcycle podcast. On the weekend of the King's Coronation, who was crowned the winner in Catalunya, and whose championship looks to be going down the throne? I am your host, the Up North biker, Ash Haw, and with me as always, feeding us the news, is Chris Chippy Ballard.
Hello.
Sam is still away with work, but here we are to carry on with the podcast. If you're listening in on YouTube, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell too, and that way you won't miss an episode. Coming up on the show, we've got the all-new Who Am I, as always. We'll be catching up on the World Superbikes in Catalunya and chatting about the BSB racing at Oulton Park from the Bank Holiday Monday. Unfortunately, we couldn't talk about that because we recorded on a Sunday, so we're chatting about that today. And yes, we are also looking forward to the MotoGP Le Mans circuit in France.
It's not Le Mans.
Le Mans, that's what I said.
It sounded more like Le Mans.
Oh, all right. Le Mans.
You said.
Le Mans in the France.
Lemon.
I was going to make a gesture there, but it's probably best I don't. All right, so... yeah, like I said, unfortunately, Sam is away with work again. But me and Chippy, we thought we did a great job last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did a good job. Yeah, I thought it went all right, actually. Yeah, Sam said, in his words, it wasn't too bad. Like, it wasn't good, it just wasn't too bad.
Oh, yeah, I know, but...
not too bad.
Sam's like the Fuhrer, isn't he? Like, when it comes to the podcast.
Oh, God. Well, the thing is, right, this is a bit of a confession time already. I haven't watched the World Superbikes from this weekend.
Well,
and the amount of abuse he's given me for that, telling me I'm not putting in the effort and this, that and the other.
It's kind of nice because it's like, usually me.
Yeah, I know, but I was at work. I've got things going on with the house. It was also the King's Coronation, which I kind of wanted to watch.
But you didn't.
And also World Superbikes, which isn't exactly the most exciting this year.
Yeah.
So...
Well,
yeah.
So what have you been up to other than obviously working?
Well, so working, looking for bits of the house.
Oh, you were carpet shopping, weren't you?
Went carpet shopping, picked the tiles, all that stuff. It was nice and exciting. But today, obviously, as you know, Ash. The dog has basically given me a £250 bill because he's decided to chew my pretty much brand new coffee table that was solid oak, and he has destroyed it pretty much.
Do you know what? When I seen the photo in the chat, I was like, "That's not even worth like laughing at," because
it's worse than the picture looks as well.
God, it just looks
it is
awful.
So bad.
And with me being an ex-carpenter, when I see oak like that and it's just been ruined, it just makes me. It makes my skin crawl. I hate it.
Because it's not like scratched. He's taken big chunks out of it as well. So it's like that is destroyed.
Jax did it. Jax did it when to a table of ours in the last place we lived. He just chewed all the legs. Oh, God. Yeah.
I mean, thankfully, I'm not Sam, so my dog isn't dead. But he was in a bit of trouble.
He hasn't been beaten to within an inch of his life.
Yes. Yeah, basically.
We are not condoning beating a dog. Sam doesn't beat his dog.
No.
We just
Wow.
We take the mick. Let's just say he pats him on the head very hard.
Yes. Yes, he does.
But I'm coming to the rescue with your coffee table, so...
Yes, thank you.
Pretty sure I'm going to be able to solve it. We'll get some... we'll colour match it with some wax and I'll bring my sander. We should be able to sort it.
Thanks, mate.
It won't look exactly the same as what it did, obviously. But I will try my hardest, I promise.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Anyway, what have you been up to?
Me? Not much going on, really. Working, as like yourself.
Well, you haven't, but...
Well, I have been. I've been doing stuff.
No, you don't work very hard. Anyway, we're not getting into
that. Yet another public holiday, thanks to the King's Coronation. I did watch it. I watched pretty much the whole thing. I'm not a big royalist, but I figured it was pretty important to watch, really.
Yeah, I mean, I did watch it, but I watched it on catch up. I caught the highlights on Match of the Day.
One thing which I found hilarious was the videos after. I don't know if you saw it, but there was a video. So when Camilla came into the into Westminster Abbey, there was these choir boys singing, but the singing sounded really funny because when you listen back to it, it sounds like they were singing "Wide-backed vagina, Camilla." Go back and listen to it. Oh my god, you cannot unhear it once you've seen it. It's so funny. It just sounds like they're singing "Wide-backed vagina, Camilla." Honestly, you cannot unhear it once you've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. I'll have to send you the video.
Yes, please do.
It's really funny. Apart from that, not a lot. We were obviously arguing.
We had an argument, didn't we?
Yeah, we did have a bit of an argument.
Our weekly argument
about where we were going to stay when we go to the British Superbikes.
Yes.
And obviously I was trying to find the cheapest option, but you can't share a bathroom.
No, the thing is, right, let's just get this clear. I don't do camping. Not anymore. I don't mind camping, I just don't like tents. So camping was out. I like a hotel, but the breakfast is important as well. So I found a Premier Inn, which was like, what, 220 quid?
No, it was more than that.
Total.
It was more than that.
No, it was only about 220, 230. It wasn't very much.
It was 260.
No. Well, it wasn't at first. So I booked that, and then the next day, bear in mind that was non-refundable. Literally 12 hours later, Ash was saying, get a refund, I want to go somewhere else. I found somewhere with a hot tub.
Hang on.
And you got this thing in your head.
You are twisting it.
Go on.
You said, oh, my sister's staying in a luxury lodge, we can see about staying in there.
No, you got into your head that it was free that we were staying there. That's why you wanted to go there. And also it got this hot tub, which is only good if you're going with your girlfriend anyway. It's a bit weird when two blokes are in a hot tub together.
Nah, we could have Brokeback Mountain the shit out of
it. Anyway, but yeah, you told me to cancel the hotel, which I did, and then you made me rebook it about 6 hours later, and then it was about 80 quid more.
But the lodge...
Well done,
the
Ash.
lodge was £100 cheaper than the Premier Inn.
No, it wasn't. It was.
You said it was 200 quid.
It was. No, it was. Sorry, but still.
But you
there
started having a little cry because there was no breakfast.
There was no breakfast,
and you had to share a bathroom with people.
Yeah, it was like share a bathroom with 6 other people that I've never even met. I'm not doing that. Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on. That was our little argument.
That was our little tiff. Yeah.
We've got it sorted. We're staying at the Premier Inn now.
Yeah, we are staying at the Premier Inn, so it should be nice. And I won the bet as well, so I get the double bed. And you would have made me sleep on the sofa bed.
I wouldn't have. I would have given you the double
would've.
bed. I'm a nice guy.
Nah, not a chance.
You're driving.
I can just see what you would be doing. You'd get into it and you'd be like, "Oh, nice and comfy. This. We should call this game I Win." That's exactly what you would have done, and you know it.
Yes. Well, you're driving there, so...
That's fine. We can drive. Oh, I thought you wanted to drive.
I drove last time. No, you're driving. I drove last time.
I'm only driving because I won the bet. Yes. Right, so that's us caught up then with things we've been up to. Feedback. We have had Big Dazzer, as always, as he emailed in.
Big Dazzer.
Regular as clockwork. Guessing Who Am I correct once again. We are really appreciative. Am I saying that right? No, shit.
Yeah, you shouldn't read it from script. Just anyway.
Of your loyalty, Dazza. Thank you very much. But we've also had somebody else email in,
and we don't actually know who this is.
We don't know who it is, and they call themselves Ronnie B. And I'll read out the email that they sent. I watched the World Superbikes this weekend, and I'd like to know your opinion. Does anyone really benefit from the Bautista dominance? At this rate, the season will be over by summer break, that is correct. Surely Dorna would like a championship that goes down to the wire, which, yeah, it'd be great. Also, given he had another off this weekend, can Johnny Ray still be considered as one of the big three in the World Superbikes? Love the podcast, Ronnie B. So, thank you very much for your
cheers,
email, Ronnie.
Yeah,
it's,
thank you.
Really, really nice to know that somebody else is listening other than Big Dazza.
Yeah.
And
thanks for getting in touch, and please keep it up.
Please
and everybody
do.
else that's listening, please get in touch.
to your question, does anyone really benefit from a Bautista dominance? I would say the only person that benefits is Bautista, really.
Yeah, and Ducati.
And Ducati, yeah. I mean, all we ever seem to hear at the moment in the World Supers is the Spanish and Italian national anthem every podium.
Yeah.
At this rate, the season will be over by the summer break because he's just smashing
I think
it.
it's already over.
Do you reckon it's already over?
Well, unless he has a big injury, I can't see him losing it. Unless something dramatic happens.
Yeah.
It is his to lose now.
But I mean, he's smashing it. We can't complain. I mean, we can complain because obviously we're not finding it as interesting. But
yeah, although I did put on Facebook, I replied to it when actually no, it was something else I replied to about Bautista, and I was saying about how boring it is now that he's just dominating. And somebody was like, "Well, you weren't saying that when Johnny Ray was winning the championships." And I was like, "No, I wasn't, because he's British, and I like to see British." I like to see either a close championship or British dominance. I don't like to see Spanish dominance or Italian dominance. I like to see British dominance or a close championship. Ideally both, but...
But then you weren't saying that when like Marc Marquez was checking out on MotoGP every week.
No, I wasn't saying that either. Yeah, Marc Marquez is the exception.
Yeah, so... I mean, the only thing they can consider really if they want to make it more interesting is taking the power down on the Ducati.
Which they did.
Which they have done already.
They increased it on the Kawasaki. But obviously it's still not made much difference.
No, it really hasn't. Yeah, I think Dorna would like that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Not with... He doesn't make mistakes. He's brilliant. He is a brilliant rider, and I still can't believe he's 39 and he's still smashing it out.
Yeah. What about... There's another bit of a question. Can Johnny Ray still be considered as one of the big three?
I honestly don't think so anymore.
Do you know? I do. I think he's still one of the big three, but I can't see him
to be, but I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be even hit third in the championship this year.
I think he'll get third, but I think he's past his best now. He's never going to improve on that. No. I think it's just downhill from here.
But
which is a shame.
I mean, it's going to be Bautista's top rack and possibly Johnny Ray, or it could be
Bassani's decent.
Yeah, Bassani, or maybe even Rinaldi was actually quite good this weekend. So
no, I'm not a fan of Rinaldi.
So once again, thanks very much, Ronnie. Really appreciate your question, and if you've got any more, please do not hesitate to email in at podcast@bigbabs.co.uk. Should we move on to the Who Am I then?
Yes, it was Sam's last week, wasn't it? Sam sent it.
I'll read out Sam's. I'll read out the clues again. Big Dazza and Ronnie have both answered this one correctly. I was born in Belfast in 1964. In 2001, I won a race in the Netherlands on board a 250 Aprilia. I once appeared in a movie playing a sporting role alongside Scarlett Johansson. Extra point if you know the movie title. So the answer was Jeremy McWilliams, but I believe both of them had to both had to Google what the movie was. And the movie was Under the Skin, and I even had to Google that because I hadn't a clue.
Never even heard of that.
Neither have I. I mean, I think it. I don't think it was anything massive. I don't know. But
the thing is, I kept messaging Sam for clues. I was like, well, is he now an actor or was it a one-off thing? And like, I was asking him loads of questions, and I thought this is a bit unfair because the listeners can't ask more questions. So I'm going to not do that in future. I'm only going to go by the clues that we've been given.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah, I didn't get it, and I was kicking myself a little bit.
I didn't even.
But never mind.
I didn't even know who it was without googling that one. So well done for getting it correctly, Dazza and Ronnie, and obviously me and Chippy are shikes. We didn't get it. And this week's Who Am I, which was my turn. And obviously last time I did it, even though I was really proud of it, you and Sam were like, oh, it was a bit shite. So I decided to go for something a little bit easier this time. And here come the clues.
A little bit easier.
Well, it's a lot easier. That's what I mean. You know, like I can't win. It's either
to be
too
fair,
hard or it's
the
too
first
easy.
The first two clues, I was like, oh, I'm struggling with this one. And then he gave the last clue, and I was like, right, I've got it straight away.
Yeah, I did think when I put that, I thought, yeah, that's pretty much a giveaway. But anyway, I'll give the clues. His first GP was in 1983 in South Africa. He has raced in the Isle of Man TT and owned a race school at Donington Racetrack. So I'll say him again. First GP was in 1983 in South Africa.
Good clue.
Has raced in the Isle of Man TT.
Another good clue.
And owned a race school at Donington Racetrack.
And then the worst clue ever. You may as well just say the name.
No, not saying the name. Not a chance. If anyone would like to contact us and email us with a guess, you can do that at podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. If you don't want to leave your name, you can leave a pseudonym. Please make it wacky if it is a pseudonym, because it'll be funny. We've had what was the one we had before, which we thought was really funny?
Harvey
Price. Yeah, we've had Harvey Price. He's an avid listener. You can always follow us on Twitter. Just search the Big Bad BS, all one word, in the search, and you'll find it. And you can always leave a comment on YouTube or our Facebook group. The Facebook group tends to be the more popular one, and the one we probably monitor more than the others.
If you have to Google those clues this week to get the Who Am I, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one this week. So if you Google it, but please do answer if you have Googled though. Send it in. And that's the Who Am I's done then. What is next on the agenda? At the news, it's your turn, Chippy.
Right, so we'll start off. I didn't actually have a lot of news this week until today, and then everything's just seemed to come at once. So I've got a little bit. Marc Marquez will not have to serve his penalty that he got for with his crash with Miguel Oliveira in Portimao after the MotoGP Court of Appeal decided that the MotoGP steward's decision to change his penalty was illegal according to MotoGP rules. They view it as that he's already served his penalty as he missed the round in Argentina. However, they do still acknowledge that Marquez was at fault for the initial crash, which is what we've been saying for the last few weeks.
It is, and I agree that is how it should be.
Yeah, he was at fault for the crash, but you can't just change the penalty.
Oh, hang on.
Make it fit.
So are you changing your mind again then?
Well,
because you said he wasn't at fault for the crash.
I suppose technically he was, even though he didn't do it deliberately. He just lost the front and then had to crash. So yes, he was sort of he crashed, but yeah.
Right.
It wasn't directly his fault.
It was directly his fault.
But not really.
It really was.
It really wasn't. Anybody else would have crashed.
No, to be fair, like I say, the Hondas have been having issues with, issues all over really, but they have had issues with locking on the front. So, yeah, it was his fault, but I think it was his fault due to technical issues. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. Yeah, let's agree with that.
Agree with that. But I absolutely agree. He shouldn't have to serve his penalty because they worded it wrong. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
If they hadn't worded,
you can't just change it.
You can't just change it because you've worded it wrong. You know, they screwed up. So next time they won't screw up because, and
as long as they've learned,
and it's not like he's going to be fighting for the championship this year anyway. I don't think.
Probably not. Especially not on that Honda.
No, and especially because he keeps breaking the bone every 5 minutes. It's just...
Well, I'm blaming Honda more than that.
Mr. Glass. But, yeah. So at least that's all been sorted now. And it's
Yes,
done
so he's
and
free
dusted.
to race with no penalties from now on.
Yeah.
Until the next crash. Anyway, another bong? Danilo Petrucci is replacing Enea Bastianini for the Le Mans Grand Prix on the factory Ducati as Bastianini continues to recover from his shoulder injury.
Oh.
I think that's good news. It was nice to see him back. I like Danilo Petrucci. I don't think he's done a lot in World Super.
He really hasn't. I was expecting more from him, to be honest.
but I think he'll still be all right on the Ducati. I think.
Yeah,
and
that's
at Le Mans.
Le Mans.
I don't think he'll be podium, but
No.
I think he'll be sort of like top 7 or 8.
Oh, I think you're pushing it at that as well, to be honest.
I don't know. He rode for the factory Ducati, and it wasn't that long ago, really.
Yeah, but where was he coming at that point? Because I didn't see much of that season.
He got the odd. Did he get a win? A win or two, maybe? He got a few podiums and that.
I don't think he'll do much, but...
I don't think he will, but it's nice to see him back.
Yeah, I don't
It'd be interesting to see how he gets on in the sprint race, because he's criticised the one in World Supers. He doesn't like it, does he?
Well, then
But now it's back in MotoGP.
He's probably
in MotoGP.
He's probably not going to like it there, then. Is he really?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he gets on with that.
But he's on the Ducati, so he won't pull away.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, very good.
Yes. Another bomb? I don't like this bit of news. Alvaro Bautista has re-signed with the factory Ducati team in World Superbikes for 2024.
Of course, yes.
Yay. But on the back of this, apparently, and this is a rumour, Toprak has rejected a deal with Yamaha and is in talks with BMW. But I don't really see this happening. But if it did...
I really hope not.
I hope it doesn't. I think he's suited to that Yamaha.
I just think if he... I know BMW obviously doing well in British Superbikes. But in the World Supers, they've never really done anything.
They're nowhere. Yeah.
And I think that'd be a really bad move for Toprak. Even though Yamaha isn't at its best at the moment, he can ride that Yamaha. He knows that Yamaha inside and out. And I think it would be much better for him to stay at Yamaha, really.
But if he did go to BMW, they'd have, assuming Toprak and Scott Redding as their riders, they wouldn't be able to blame the riders for not getting results. They'd have to blame the bike, because you've got two riders as good as them.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
And that's assuming Scott Redding stays. I think he's got a contract. Didn't he have a 4-year contract, but he could... I think after 2 years he could pull out of it. I can't remember. It's something like that. But I'm pretty sure he's got a ride for next year there. So if they had that rider lineup, there is no way they could blame anybody other than the bike.
Yeah, I mean, with Toprak doing so well, though, it's surprising that he's not been offered deals with like Ducati as well.
Yeah, or even, Kawasaki.
But yeah,
or even going up to MotoGP.
I think he should stay with Yamaha at the moment. I think
I
that's
do
really,
as well.
Really
I think that's his best.
Move.
Yeah, it's his best option to stay with Yamaha.
And then Alvaro on the Ducati. That was bound to happen.
Great.
Bound to happen.
It's boring, isn't it?
This is why
just retire. You're 39.
This is why I used to find GP. Started to find GP a bit boring because of Marquez checking out all the time.
Yeah, but I like Marquez.
Yeah, but constantly looking, rooting for second place. It was just crap.
Do you know what though? Like back when I used to watch Formula 1, I used to like watching Michael Schumacher dominate, because you just knew you were watching like the best rider ever, or arguably one of the best riders ever.
Yeah, he was class.
Just dominating, and it was good to see. You're thinking you're watching probably one of the best riders ever. Sorry, drivers in the peak of his career. I felt like that with Marquez, the GOAT.
Rossi, the GOAT. Yeah, it's one of them, innit? But
yeah.
I don't like Marquez, so.
Yes. Anyway, another bomb?
Yeah.
Tom Sykes and Kawasaki Puchetti Racing have announced their split 12 races into their partnership. 2013 champion Sykes will return to BMW temporarily, appearing on the M1000 RR machine during this week's 2-day test at Misano, as well as races until Michael van der Mark has fully recovered from his injury. Now that's not really a surprise. I'm pretty sure actually I don't know if I said it on the podcast or if I just said it to you two, that I can't see him lasting until the end of the season on that. I thought he'd last a bit longer, I'll be honest, but I couldn't see them to...
He can't get race time in, because he sets off on it and it just breaks.
The thing is, I don't think it's always the bike that's the problem.
But it's got to be.
He's old. He's past it.
All right, yeah. He's getting on. He's not as good as he used to be. I agree with you. But to not be able to go out there and do like however many laps in a sprint race or in a race, the bike should be able to get round regardless of your skill level.
Yeah. No, I get that. And to be honest, BMW have probably made a good call there with his experience, and obviously he's raced for him before.
Yeah.
Putting him in for Van der Mark, but I don't know. I think the end of this season, Tom Sykes needs to be like, look, I need to retire, do something else.
Maybe he will do, but
run a team or something, become a pundit, do something else.
Kawasaki's absolutely atrocious. Like, it's so bad. I mean, I don't. What the hell are they doing? But anyway, so he's on the Rocket BMW, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll look forward to seeing him in the next race then, actually, if he's going to be on the BMW, because at least he might be a bit further up the board.
I don't think he will.
But at least,
I think he'll still be hovering around the same area.
He'll finish a race then, at least.
He might finish a race, but he'll still be down with Eric Granado and Hafi Shirehin, or whatever his name is. Anyway.
Yeah.
Next bit of news. Now, I don't normally put rumours into the news, but I've put this one in. Apparently, Aleix Espargaro has hinted that he'll be leaving MotoGP at the end of the 2024 season, and he's wanting a testing role. Now, I think it's something to do with the sprint races and the amount of workload that they've got on weekends now. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's wanting to take a step back and probably realises he's never going to win a championship. He's probably done what he can. But I think if he became a test rider for Aprilia, I think that'd be good for them. Good for him.
Would, but if that's a pretty big rumour. I'm surprised he's wanting to throw the towel in, because he's not that old.
No, I don't actually know how old he is. Is he like 30 odd? Early 30s?
But I mean, he's still when he's qualifying in that, he's still up there.
Yeah, he's good. He could definitely. Well, I mean, it says at the end of 2024 he might be crap by then, but
he is a massive baby though.
Yeah, he whinges a lot. He does
cry a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's very professional. Like when you see him, he takes his training and everything really serious. But you watch that Marc Marquez documentary. I'm pretty sure he was the only rider that came up and kind of wished him luck and that, and before he had his operation. So he's a nice guy, but he's very competitive and very professional and very whingy.
Well, I don't know. That is a bit of a shock, really. I would have thought he would keep going.
Also, he's a family man, and he's got like wife and kids and that. Maybe with these younger lads coming up.
But then you've got Maverick Vinales. He's got a young family as well.
True.
He's not talking about.
I think a lot of them are settling down, actually. Yeah.
I think once I don't know. I think once people have kids, they lose that edge a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
Because they've got some.
But then it kind of opens up to who would replace him. Would it be Miguel Oliveira? Because I mean, he's had a lot of bad luck this year, but he's done well in the races he has been in on that other Aprilia.
I think anybody that slots into that Aprilia would be good for them, because them Aprilias are going really well.
Yeah, they are.
They are going really well, and I'd say if anything, they were the ones that could possibly even match speed with the Ducatis. They don't seem to pull away from them as much.
I think they're on a par at the minute with KTM.
I'm freaking loving KTM at the moment. I cannot wait for the GP.
Yeah, we know after last week. You had your little KTM fantasy last week.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Anyway, the last bit of news.
Yeah.
Nice bit of news to finish on. Johnny Garnes, as we said last week, he had a massive head injury, bleeding on the brain and all that. But he's now been discharged from the Santa Maria Hospital in Lisbon and is on his way back to Devon. However, he's not allowed to fly due to the damage sustained to his ears and potential complications with air bubbles in his head. Apparently some peripheral paralysis on his face on the right-hand side due to nerve damage. I think I read earlier that they're hopeful that will get better.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all really happy that he's on the mend, and obviously we wish him all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good news that he's managed to sort of recover even a bit.
Yeah.
So he's in Santa Maria. So he's going to have to drive home then, or get driven.
Yeah, I think so, or ferry or something, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
But there was I don't know, it's like the Junior GP or something, I can't remember, that him and Casey O'Gorman racing on the same team. Apparently Casey O'Gorman had quite a big crash as well.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty sure he had quite a big crash this weekend, but he'll bounce back. He's, again, a good lad.
Yeah, the Casey O'Gorman, that's the, is that the Irish lad?
Yeah.
But is that the one we stole?
Yeah, that's the one we've claimed as our own.
He's British, well, he's not. And it's like, well, he is now.
Yeah, he's British. He races in, on the British circuit. He speaks English, so we've claimed him. Sam will be raging listening to
Oh,
this.
no. Yeah,
He's back next week, though, I think. But unfortunately, I won't be here, so...
Oh, great. So I've got to do the podcast with the Führer.
Yeah. I'm going to have to miss next week, because... In fact, I might have to miss a few weeks, because I'm busy with work. So...
I'm still the OG. Haven't missed one yet.
You're the only one that will be like 100%.
Yeah, 100% attendance.
Of all the episodes. Yes.
Right, well, I suppose, is that the end of the news? You got any more news?
Though that is the end of the
It's
news.
the end of the news. I suppose we're getting to the World Superbikes then.
Yes, but obviously, as I said earlier, I haven't watched any of it, so this is kind of news to me, what Ash is going to say. So I haven't really got much of an input.
Yeah, I know, which is difficult for
but-
me because I've sort of got to go off my notes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I was a bit busy.
You could have watched them.
Do you know what, if it was the British Superbikes or the MotoGP, I would have found time. I'd have made myself watch them. But I was thinking, it's the World Supers.
It was actually quite good.
I know exactly who's won before I've even watched it. So I just didn't bother watching.
Fair enough.
I should have watched the highlights, though.
Yeah, you could have at least watched the highlights. I did watch most of the races. I think I missed a couple. One being the last Supersport 300 race. I did watch the first Supersport 300 race, and it was quite funny because during qualifying, they were all out there and they were scrapping as they do, even though it was qualifying. It's like Moto 3.
Yes.
All the riders got told to come in, and there was FIM stood there, and somebody else as well. I can't remember who it was exactly because I didn't catch all of it. But they were basically all stood in a massive semicircle and getting a massive bollocking about dangerous and irresponsible riding.
That's good, though.
It is good, but it's kind of like...
It's about time.
It's like teaching them to suck eggs. They're racing, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's been happening for a few years in Moto 3, and it needed something like that to happen. They just needed pulling in, have their heads banging together and say, stop messing about with this looking for a toe thing, just get on with it and put in a lap time. I say this, and I'm a massive Marc Marquez fan. But,
who knocks into everybody.
well, I was thinking more about getting a toe in qualifying, but yeah, yeah, I think they were right to do that, and hopefully it's taught them a bit of a lesson.
Well, they didn't. They got told if they don't, if they didn't sort it out, then they'll be getting pulled in again. So they went back out there, and obviously they didn't get pulled in again. But he must have been watching them like a hawk.
Yeah,
It was funny in a way. It was funny to watch because they all look like just, like at school when you get bollocking off the teacher. It just looked like that. And they were all just sort of stood there with their helmets in their hands like, yeah, sound, can we go back to racing now? So yeah, that happened in the qualifying, which then brings us into the first race. So forgive me if I'm not pronouncing these properly because I'm shy at pronouncing stuff. But first was Ruiz, second Dezora, and third was Janai. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. So that was who came in first, second, and third. At the very start, the the lights obviously went green, and again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Is it Ruben Bijman? Is that right?
I'd say Byman. Usually when it's an I and a J like that together, they're usually
right.
Dutch, and it's like a Y.
Ruben Byman,
So it's like Byman,
right at the start.
I don't know, not 100% sure.
Well, if anybody knows actually how to pronounce his name, please email in and let us know. That'd be great. So he jumped the lights at the very start, and like you did see him, he was a fair way back anyway. I don't think he was going to be fighting for a podium or anything, but he stalled the bike when he jumped at the start, and it put him really, really far behind. Like he was struggling to get it started, but because he jumped,
he properly stalled it.
Yeah, like he full on stalled it, and everyone had set off, and he was just like looking down at his bike, and I was like, what are you doing?
Was he? He wasn't near the front, was he?
No, I think he was like third row.
See, I hate that.
Third row from the back, I think.
Oh, okay. So I hate it when somebody stalls and they're like right near the front, just watching like 20 other riders try and avoid him. I hate that.
So he jumped it, and obviously he was really far behind. He eventually got going, but because he jumped at the start of the lights, he also got a long lap penalty on top of that. And I think that's really, really harsh, because he'd already stalled it and he was nowhere near. I'm talking like 20 seconds.
That is harsh.
He was 20 seconds behind everybody, like the rider in whatever place they were. And then as he got riding round, it was like came up on the screen, long lap penalty issued for jumping the light. So not only was he 20 seconds behind everyone, he also had to do a long lap penalty. Which was awful for him. I felt sorry for him. Then Perez Gonzalez also had a long lap penalty to serve, and that was from what I was speaking about before with the controversy in the qualifying for dangerous and irresponsible riding. So he had a long lap penalty to serve, which he did. There was a huge crash not long after that for number 41, Raphael, I think it was. A really, really big crash, and he was like sort of on the ground, and they do that thing when they pan over with the freaking camera. Not knowing what's wrong with them, but anyway, it came off. The camera went off, and then there was talks of a possible red flag, and then even because it was so early on, but he got up and walked away, so they just cracked on with the race. Which usually when it's that early on, they tend to start it again, but they decided to not bother. And then not long after that crash, there was another crash, and that involved 5 riders, which included Zinka, Kagi. I'm trying to pronounce these names, though. I just sound like an absolute idiot. Mastraluka, Seabright, and and Venerable, I believe. I can't pronounce them. Do apologise. I'm going to start learning these names. All the riders were okay, but one went down and just took out the rest of them. It was like like Skittles.
Poor Fenton Seabright.
I know, yeah. He's doing really well as well, and he all got wiped out. But it's Super Sport 300. It was a fairly standard race, but it was really scrappy as usual, which was really fun to watch. And what I was thinking as I was watching it is, when last week you said about the Women's World Superbike Championship?
Yes.
What kind of bikes are they going to be?
I did tell you, they haven't come out with a specific brand.
No,
but they've said it's they're all going to be like one make, so they're all going to have exactly the same.
Yeah, so it'll be like the Red Bull
in
Cup.
Moto 2, but they're going to be. They reckon sort of like medium capacity, so like 600cc probably, something like that.
Right, that's not so bad then. I just wondered if they were maybe going to use the 300s.
No, why would you think that? What? Because they're women, they can't handle pressure?
No, I'm just wondering.
Sorry, not the pressure, the power.
Well, I don't know.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying.
Now who's been sexist?
I'm not being sexist at all. Stick them on thousands. Let's just watch them all pile up. I don't care.
Pile up. Well, so you think if they have too much power, they're going to crash? If they should all be on 300s, like you said.
No, the vibrations would be too much for them. They'll have to stop. No. I do hope they get some decent bikes and they can do the championship.
I think that I saw something about Aprilia. I can't remember now. I might be making this up. RS 750. I don't even know if that is a bike. I might have made that up, but something like that. Is that a bike you've ever heard of?
Sorry?
RS 750 Aprilia.
Oh, right, okay.
Or RS 600, something like that. I can't remember now.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Again, I'm making this up. I don't know the mix of bikes.
I don't know. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the 300 race. Like I say, it was just a fairly standard race. Bit of crashing, bit of controversy in qualifying, but it was good to watch.
Yeah, better than the World Supers?
No. See, the World Supers I actually really enjoyed. It was decent. Even though, obviously, it's the usual winners. But
yeah.
So,
winner.
Yeah. So, first place was Bautista. Who could have guessed that? Second place was Top Rack. And third was Johnny Ray.
And that's what cost me my double bed in the Premier Inn, because we had a bet of who was going to finish highest, but we weren't allowed to say Bautista because obviously we would have both picked him. So it was basically between Top Rack and Johnny Ray, but I let Ash choose first and he went with Top Rack. To be fair, I'd have probably picked Johnny Ray anyway because they had a bit more of a rev limit this weekend. So I was kind of hoping Ash hadn't read that. But no, unfortunately, I lost.
Yeah, but then I looked at the results from the previous year, which I thought was the race. It turned out it was freaking testing. So then when I picked Top Rack, I was like, oh, Top Rack was first. Yeah, let's go with that one. And then it was like, what are you on about? Top Rack wasn't first. And then so I went on the testing results from last year. But I ended up winning. So I get the double bed. Hooray for me.
I'd have given it to you anyway.
You wouldn't.
Fat.
Such a lie.
You wouldn't have fit in the single bed.
Well, who knows? Maybe I would have. I'm doing this thing, by the way, everybody. I'm doing this positivity thing where I'm trying to be more positive. And Chippy keeps throwing these things at me. He's calling me fat, lazy.
I've seen it as a challenge.
He's basically seen it, as a challenge to try and get me to break. But anything that he gives to me, I try and turn it round and put a positive spin on it. Because usually I'd be like barking at him and trying to rip his head off.
Yeah, but I will win. I'll just keep winding you up to the point where you do break.
Yeah, but then I might
break you.
I don't know. I might end up having to bury you or something. You need to be careful with that. So let's get into the first race then of the World Supers. There was obviously lights went green. It was a great start for Johnny Ray, but Bautista and Rinaldi, like literally Ray had set off and he was in front of them both, but they were just them Ducatis. They're just so quick, and they overtook him straight away and took the lead, which was a real shame because I wanted Johnny to do well. Yeah, obviously not too well in that race because I wanted to win the bet. Top Rack and Locatelli were also in the mix. They were literally at the back of that group, so at that point it was Bautista, Rinaldi, Ray, Top Rack and Locatelli. Top Rack he made a really, really good block pass on Locatelli. He was coming round a bend and he just came out of nowhere. It was a real gutsy move and I was thinking, it's going to knock him off, but luckily Locatelli saw him and gave him a bit of room. But literally, as they set off, that's when it started to rain a little bit. There was only a few spots of rain in the air. Alex Lowe's, he actually finished in 8th position, and I thought that was really good because he had a really, really bad off in qualifying, and absolutely pretty much totaled his bike. So to say that he was managed to finish 8th was really good. He was you could tell he was definitely trying. There was also a couple more crashes. There was Koenig crashed out early on, and Granado also did. He had a really, really bad crash at turn 11. Race was red flagged. Everyone had to return to the pits. And once again, the cameras doing what they do, and they're still filming the riders when they've gone down. And
it's really bad. And one day they're going to film them, and the rider's not going to be okay.
Well, the thing is, it was even at the point where they were like, right, all the marshals were there, medical team was there, but then they show him being stretchered off into the ambulance, and it's like, why do we need to see that? I don't know. It's just one of them things that they're going to carry on doing, because I suppose people are going to talk about it. We're talking about it now.
Yeah, I suppose, and you know.
But it's. I just think it's unnecessary. Should give the riders some dignity, and But he was taken to a nearby hospital in Barcelona, so we hope he's okay and makes a quick recovery. It was really, really bad off though. It's a bloody big. Well, it's a bit of a high side, and he just fucking slid straight into the barrier.
Yeah.
Not nice to see. On the
I've messaged Sam, by the way.
Yeah.
Because he's just asking how the recording's going, so I just said, yeah, it's decent. Just doing it now. Anything you want us to say? Have you seen his reply? I'm not saying it.
Hang on, let me have a look. So Sam has decided to put 2 comments to pass on, which is Marquez is shit and Tom Sykes should retire. So that's Sam's input.
Yeah, nothing like, hey everyone, be back to see you soon. Be good to get back on the pod and that. No, it's just, yes.
9!
It's just that. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, what's this thing this week with Sam, by the way? I can rip him while he's not here to defend himself. With this texting thing, where he's worked out that you don't have to tap the screen to type, you can just swipe your finger across the letters.
You've been able to do that for years.
Yeah, but I don't think it's any better. I prefer typing normally.
I think it's
he's
nails to do it swiping.
He's getting very overexcited about this new way of being able to text. That he's just looking for things to say just so he can use it. It's very strange. If you don't know what we're on about, basically, if you on an iPhone at least, instead of typing like, I don't know, bikes, like BIKES, all you do is start your finger on B and then just drag it to I to K to E to S and then let go, and then it works out what you're trying to say. And Sam seems to think this is incredibly exciting. but
it takes more time to swipe than it does to type it.
Yeah, it does. And also, if you mess up or it doesn't recognise, then you've got to delete the whole thing and then just write it again anyway. It's very... Anyway, sorry, I've gone completely on a tangent there.
Sam interrupting us.
Yes.
So, yeah, obviously, we hope he makes a good recovery. And, please stop recording riders coming off. Make sure they're okay first, then go back to recording. It's literally one quick radio procedure. Are they all right? Yeah, sound right. We'll put the cameras back on them. That's all it takes.
Yeah, even show the replay, even if it's a massive crash. Show us the replay as long as the rider's okay.
Yeah. So on the race restart, the Ducatis, again, great start. No shock there. Johnny Ray gets pushed back, unfortunately. He got pushed quite far back. I think it was like 8th or something like that.
Jesus.
Bassini had really good pace very early on, and he moved into second place. Like he went straight in front of Rinaldi. But then the reason he drops back is because during the race, Rinaldi round the corner, he went up the inside of him and gave him a little shove, which knocked Bassini off course. And I was thinking, oh, that was a bit naughty. That there's race incidents, and then there's like, you shouldn't be taking that line. Obviously, Rinaldi did it and knocked him, and I was waiting for something to come up about there being a penalty for him given to Rinaldi. But before that could happen, Bassini makes a move to get back in front of him and completely knocks Rinaldi off. But it was like, it's one of them where it's like, yes, it was a racing line that he was taking, but he got a long lap penalty for it.
Didn't this all kick off? And by the way, you said it like 3 times, and it's Bassani, isn't it? Not Bassini. Anyway, didn't it all kick off? Didn't Rinaldi say that Bassini was like I've said it again because I was reading the way you've spelt it. Hang on, I'm going to correct it because it's going to annoy me. Bassani. Didn't he say that Bassani was like an amateur or something like that? and that he's not good enough or something. But yeah, he's consistently beating him.
Yeah, he had a bit of a little bit of a tiff about it, did Ronaldo. But to me, it did look a little bit of a revenge pass. And that's fair enough. Like obviously, Ronaldo knocked him, Pisani knocks him, and he came off. But the big problem for Pisani is he was looking for that ride at on the full factory Ducati, and it's like
I think he deserves it more than what's his name?
Ronaldo. Yeah, I do as well. But how are Ducati going to look on that now that he's just come back and knocked their rider off, cost them money with their bike? I don't know if it's helped him much.
Yeah, it's probably not gone down well.
I don't think it would have done. But Pisani's a really good rider. I'm enjoying watching him.
He is. He has finished, I think, was it last year? Or maybe even the season before. He finished ahead of Ronaldo in the standings. So I don't know why Ducati stick with Ronaldo. I mean, he's not bad, but it's better riders.
But it was just funny to watch because obviously Ronaldo knocked him, and then Pisani was like, "Well, I'm not having any of that," and it just took him out. And then obviously Ronaldo, when he came off his bike, he threw his hands up in the air, did like a sarcastic clap over to Pisani as he was riding away. But he took it well, did Ronaldo, to be fair. He wasn't really asked about it, but I think it's because he knew he'd obviously knocked into him first. So Bautista, as always, had checked out, and he was really far in front. He is so good.
Him and that
even
bike,
though obviously we're not liking the fact that he's getting so far in front, he's just brilliant.
Yeah,
and
they're the perfect package. That Ducati with Bautista at this time, they're just the perfect package.
But it's really strange because Bautista was so sort of like mediocre in MotoGP, and then he's gone to World Supers and just destroyed everybody.
Yeah,
it's really strange. It'd be interesting to see if he just to chuck him on a bike in the GP now to see what he'd do.
Yeah,
maybe chuck him on a factory Ducati as a wildcard ride just to see what happens.
That would be good to see, actually. I'd rather watch that than having what's his name, the Ducati test rider, Pirro, rather than just watching him going around with the GP, because he never does anything. And I'd rather watch Bautista. It's so much better to see.
Yeah, definitely. As I was watching the race, actually, I was listening to the commentators, and so it turns out that Top Rack has had his whole seat removed from his bike, so he doesn't actually have a seat, and he's sat on the fuel tank.
All right.
And the reason he's doing this is so he can get lower down when he's cornering. So there's less, like, obviously when you lean on a bike, you're slapping your outside leg up against the tank and you're leaning over to put your knee down. But if you're like sat up higher, you can't get over as much. So he said to his team, "Screw it, let's just get rid of the seat." So it must be really, really like uncomfortable for him. His knackers must just be on fire when he's finished a race. But he's sacrificing that comfort just so he can get down lower, which I think is quite funny, really. Bradley Ray, he got his first 3 points of the season. So he took 13th place. And I thought that was really good to see. And it was only his fourth World Superbikes appearance. To say that he's come from BSB and that's his fourth appearance and he's got a couple of points on the board, I think that's really good.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, he's still getting used to the bike, I'd imagine, because it's electronics, aren't there? It's all different in World Supers. I don't think there is any electronics in British, is there? British Superbikes.
I'm not sure that's your area of expertise, that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's all very limited electronics, and then they go to World Supers and there's a lot more. So yeah, he must still be getting used to the bike.
Yeah, he did really well though.
He's done well.
I'm enjoying watching him. I actually listened to because I couldn't sleep last night, as you know, and I went on to Pushing the Limits podcast, and it's actually Danny Buchan talking to Bradley Ray.
I like Danny Buchan.
In one of his new podcasts. So I was actually sat listening to that, and Bradley Ray sounds like a really nice, just down to earth bloke. Actually,
he spoke to me.
Did he?
Brad Ray actually came up to me and spoke to me a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Where was that?
That was it Knockhill or Cadwell Park? I can't remember. It was one of them. 2019. Yeah, he just came up to me and spoke to me.
Oh.
I mean, well, he asked where his mechanic was, and I was like, don't know. And then I was like, Jesus, he just spoke to me. Yeah,
Fair enough.
Got all excited.
That is fair enough. Where am I? I've completely lost where I am. Sorry.
Maybe he spoke to me because we both have glasses. We're both specky.
Yeah, you both weird-looking people. No, you look fine, Brad. Sorry, big old Brad. So let's move on to the Super Bowl then, World Superbike Super Bowl, and have a guess who won.
Bautista, by any chance?
Yes, it was. It was Bautista. Top Rack in second, and Locatelli in third.
Well, it's nice to see another rider in the top three.
Double Yamaha podium, which was pretty cool as well. The Yamaha seems to only be doing well in World Supers at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, actually saying that, it's only really MotoGP is struggling in. 'Cause, I mean, BSB, they're pretty good in as well. They won the championship last year, and they're usually up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, World Supers, they're good. But yeah, it's just MotoGP that they seem to be really struggling in lately.
Yeah, come on Yamaha, sort it out. So in the Super Bowl, once again there was spots of rain in the air, but not too bad. So everyone was still on slicks because of the heat in Catalunya. The ground temperature was hot enough to, with his spitting, it was hot enough to evaporate pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
So they all decided to go out on slicks. Again, great start from the Ducati and Kawasaki teams. So they were up there pretty much straight away. It was nice to see Alex Lowe's up there as well.
Yeah.
It was also a really good start for Iker Lecuona, which I was really happy to see because I like Iker Lecuona. I think he's cool.
I don't know why you like him so much.
I just think he's just cool, and I like that he's riding a Honda and yeah.
What did you think of his appearance in MotoGP?
Well,
I can't remember where he finished, but I don't think he did that well,
he
did he?
didn't do amazingly, but he stayed on the freaking bike, so... But yeah, I mean, he wasn't breaking any records. I was also surprised to see Rinaldi sat behind Bautista in second place in for the start of the race, because he actually got an injury on his hand from race 1. When he got knocked off by Bassini, he was stood there having an interview. Bassani. Sorry. Fucking hell. It sounds easier saying Bassini. So he was stood there with this little blue gel ice pack on his hand having an interview. It just reminded me of back at school, the school nurse was like, "Oh, you're injured? Yeah, we'll just get some ice on it, mate." So that's all I could do. I think that's when he had his little, in that interview, that's when he had his little tiff about Bassani. Oh God, I said it right this time. But yeah, he was sat behind Bautista in second place. Unfortunately, Loris Baz crashed out on the first lap. But I believe he rejoined. There was talk about him rejoining. They didn't put it up on the screen, but they did say, he's managed to get back on the bike.
Yeah.
And what a surprise. Bautista checked out again. And this time...
That is a surprise.
This time it was by quite a bit. I believe at the end of the race he had a 9-second gap.
Oh, it's just boring.
9 seconds. Yeah, but like I say, Marquez was doing this.
Yeah, but I like Marquez.
Yeah,
I don't really
why
like
don't you like Bautista? What have you
Bautista.
got against Bautista?
I don't know. It's just something about him. I don't know. I don't feel that bond with him.
Fair enough.
I don't look at him and think I really like him.
Well, this is like with me with Iker Lecuona. You don't get it, but I just think he's cool. And Alex Rins. I really like Alex Rins.
You seem to like really average riders.
I like an underdog. Underdogs are cool.
Very average.
Yeah, Bautista's just looking unstoppable at this point. I could just see him. I think he's, like you say, he's pretty much won it already. Alex Lowe's, he held his place well in 6th position. That's where he finished. it was a fairly standard race up until the third lap, and that's when the rain started coming down. I mean, like, properly.
Right.
So obviously everyone's tyres are a bit worn, a lot worn at this point. The rain starts falling, but this made it really, really exciting because all of the leaders started to slow down, and a lot of people were exchanging places really rapidly because some were just giving it that little bit more than the others. And Top Rack was still braking, like out braking everybody. Nobody would dare brake like Top Rack does, which was really, really cool to see. Unfortunately, on the very last lap, and I was rooting for Johnny, but Johnny Ray lost his front end. Coming down the straight, and he was up on the left, ready to take the corner. But he knew Top Rack was behind him. Top Rack came in to outbrake Johnny, and obviously Johnny thought, right, he's going to go past me here. There's nothing really I can do. So he gave Top Rack a bit too much room. And when you watch the replay, Johnny's front tyre hits the white line. Obviously, because of the rain, because of the tyre wear, he literally touched that white line for a second, and boom, front end just went down, and Johnny just went in a straight line across the gravel.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is, because obviously no points. Was Johnny going to be up there as, winning with points? Probably not, but it's obviously sucks for him because he was wanting to get the points. I think he would have, if he, I don't think he would have got second like Top Rack did, but I think he would have definitely held it on in third if he'd managed to stay on, and that was on the last bloody lap.
Yeah.
So sorry, Johnny, but that's racing. Not that he's listening.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yes, like I say, it was a really exciting finish. Bautista, Top Rack, and Locatelli on the podium, double Yamaha. But it was so close, and I mean so close, between Iker Lecuona and Locatelli at the very end across the line. Lecuona got fourth, which I was really, really happy to see. He really, really pushed it, but...
Why do you like Lecuona so
I
much?
just like him. But I tell you what, if he'd have got a podium, that would have been like... How long has it been since a Honda's been up there?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
So to say he finished fourth, I thought it was class for him, but it would have been good to have seen him up there on the podium. And so that was probably the most exciting race of the day, really.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to the Supersport race 2. And now, I haven't got much on this because not a lot happened, really.
But what happened to Supersport race 1?
Not a lot happened in that either. And I don't...
So you just didn't take any notes for that one?
Because I was on and off watching that one.
Right, okay. So I don't actually know the results of that. Do you know where Taz McKenzie finished?
No.
Brilliant.
Well,
I'll Google that after.
Well, you can look it up while I'm talking about this.
Okay,
so
I'll look at it now.
The World Supersport Race 2. Again, please forgive me for the names. Sofaloglu, is that how you say it?
That is definitely not how you say it. You've put Sofaloglu. It's not sofa, it's just Sofoglu.
Alright, Sofoglu, there we go. Igloo. He's in an igloo.
Sofaloglu. It's like phosphorus.
Phosphorus blows up. He was first, Manzi was second, and Schrotter was third. At the very start of the race, it was a really great start by Caricasulo, and he got in front of Balega really, really early on, which was good to see, because obviously Balega's on the Ducati, so we're kind of wanting to see other people win over the Ducati at the moment.
Yeah.
John McPhee, he was back in 20th place, which was a real shame to see. He managed to climb up to 15th, and he was in the place to be within points, but then he crashed out of the race and he couldn't continue.
I've just got the results here. Sorry to interrupt. Of race 1.
Yeah.
So Taz McKenzie finished last, or last of the finishers. Harry Truelove, he was 24th. There's 27 finishers, so Harry Truelove was 24th. We got John McPhee finished 19th. Tom Booth Amos finished 13th. So the Brits didn't do amazing
No.
in the first race.
Who won?
Well, take a guess. Balaga.
Oh, of course he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember that.
Of course he did. He's on a Ducati.
Second and third.
Schrotter and Sofoglu. Or Sofaloglu.
Sofaloglu. Yeah. So John McPhee crashed out. It's a real shame because he had such a great start to the season, and then he's sort of slotting back into that sort of Moto3 John McPhee again.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, he's in the dirt again. Which is a shame because we want to see the Brits do well. Come on, guys, let's do it.
Yes.
It was great to see some scrappy racing from Schrotter. I do like watching Schrotter and Manzi go at it. It's really, really cool. It was sort of looking like an SSP 300 race, this one, because everyone was really scrapping. And I did notice that the MV Augustas are looking really, really strong against the Ducati.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Ducati's still going to win the championship.
Probably, yeah, but they were doing really well against them.
It's going to be Balaga.
It probably is.
And Bautista.
Yeah. Manzi fought his way all the way up into second place, that's where he finished. Really good to watch him and Schrotter fighting it out towards the end. During the race, it looked like some debris actually came off Balaga's bike, which could have also been debris from the track. But towards the end, Balaga had to retire due to a technical fault. So,
oh no, what a shame.
So it may very well have been something that came off his bike that caused the issue.
Well, that's good he's had a retirement. Let's have a look at the standings then. Oh, he's still winning. Oh, he's winning by like 30 odd points.
Yeah, he's still quite far ahead.
Oh, he's miles ahead.
I mean, he's safe for another race. He could come off next race and he'd still be in the lead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there was when they said about the debris, because you do see something. It's something like white just flings off. I don't know if that's what the problem was. They never actually confirmed that. But it was there was a double MB Augusta podium, and they were talking about Manzi having literally, like in the last lap of the race, having a penalty. So I'm not actually sure what happened with that, because again they didn't carry on talking about it. But yeah, there was a penalty there, apparent penalty there, but didn't see. And that's basically what covers the second race.
I'm just looking at the championship standings for each of the classes.
Yeah.
The top performing BMW and World Superbikes is Garrett Gerloff, and I thought he was a flop this year. Scott Redding's 15th in the championship. That's bad.
It is really.
Tom Sykes is last with 1 point, by the way.
All right. You love sticking it to Tom Sykes, don't you?
Yeah, I do a little bit.
I don't get it.
I like him.
No, I don't think you do.
I don't like him anymore.
From Yorkshire, you don't like him.
Yeah, he just needs to retire.
Well, so does Marquez. This is an argument we're always going to have.
He doesn't.
He does. He needs to.
Doesn't. Don't talk wet.
He does.
Anyway, back to the matter in hand.
So the last race that I actually watched was the second World Superbike race.
Right, okay.
First place.
Wonder who won this.
So Bautista won. So it was a three in a row for him again. Top Rack was second. Did really well. And Rinaldi was third. So
not Johnny Ray.
Well, we'll get to that. So Bautista, Top Rack, Rinaldi got a great start. But unfortunately, Johnny had to start back in 10th due to his off in a Super Bowl race.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So he wasn't in the mix like he usually is. So he was back in 10th. Right, so is this guy that I'm about to say now, is this the guy that you said, whatever his name is?
Yes, Hafiz Cheyenne, or something like that. I don't know how you say it.
Him and Tom Sykes had a crash on the first lap. I believe it was Siren that wiped out Tom Sykes, which is a real shame because, as you know, Tom hasn't had much luck recently.
Because Tom was going to go for the win, was he?
It's just obviously he's just had so much bad luck at the moment, and obviously he's finally on thinking, oh yeah, I might be able to finish this race, and bang, he just gets wiped out. So that's obviously not good to see. You don't care because you don't like him, but
no, I don't. I don't know. I can't make my mind up.
So that put them both out of the race. Alex Lowe's rode really well towards the middle of the race, and he actually set the fastest lap as well, which is good to see. I'd say Alex was probably the best Brit that we had throughout the weekend. Yeah. But Toprak has to have been my favourite to watch this weekend. He just gave up 100%, and he can just outbrake anybody coming into a corner. I love watching him brake because it's just...
They call him Stoprak, don't they?
It's just unbelievable. Like, there's nobody... that obviously, I know I spoke about Brad Binder a lot in the last time we did the podcast. But it'd be cool to see Toprak and Binder to see who can outbrake. Because they're both really good at it.
Yes.
It was unfortunate, again, like you're saying, Scott Redding's in 15th in the championship, but he fell back to 19th place.
Who else fell back to 19th this weekend?
It
was Leeds United, wasn't it? Sorry, yeah.
Shut up. But then out of nowhere, he went back into 19th, and then shortly after, it came up on the screen that he'd retired. So it was apparently due to a technical fault again on the BMW. There was no shot of him beating up his bike. I'm sure he was absolutely trashing it once he got back into the pits. That was quite...
I love Scott Redding.
I do, but...
I really do. He just needs a lucky break, or he just needs to, realise he's never going to be a world champion. Just come back to BSB, win a few championships there.
Do you reckon he would go back to BSB? Do you not see him
I
doing
think he
test
would.
riding instead?
Well, maybe. But I'd rather see him in BSB.
Yeah, but BSB is just like... I don't know, it's a pretty young man's game, is BSB, really.
Well, not really. Tommy Bridewell's... Is he leading the... No, Glenn Irwin's leading the championship, isn't he? But Tommy Bridewell's up there, and he's like... He's getting on.
Wow.
Leon Haslam as well.
Oh, yeah, he's 39. Is he 39?
Something like that, yeah.
Johnny Ray did really well to make up a few places, but you could tell he was trying to save his back tyre. Like, the way he was riding, he was obviously, he knew he wasn't going to be up there for a podium because he started back in 10th. And he didn't have the greatest of starts, so he was making up a few, but he was doing it very carefully. The best bit of that race was right at the end. Rinaldi thought he was in second position, and he must have thought he had it in the bag. And then on the last corner, out of nowhere, Toprak managed to overtake him and pip him to the line. It was like photograph finish, but it was just... Even I was thinking, where the fucking hell has Toprak just come from? He just came out of nowhere and overtook. And he obviously got the second place. And the last thing I have to say about that is Bradley Ray managed to finish 15th.
Well, that's all right.
Which, again, it's not amazing.
Hopefully he can keep improving.
Yeah, hopefully he will keep improving
and start moving up a bit more.
Well,
but yeah, I think he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get on to the BSB from last Monday, there was a bit I missed out on the catch-up, which I will talk about now. So we are all very excited to announce that we will be having Michael Russell of Russell Road Racing join us on an up-and-coming podcast. We'll be having a decent Q&A with Michael, asking him plenty of questions about the up-and-coming Isle of Man TT races and his experiences on the course. And we're also very excited, and this is the bit I'm really excited about, is Michael has agreed to let us advertise the Big Bad Bike Show on all his race bikes.
That's
which
class.
I think is...
Now, I think we should just give a bit of background to him, because I don't think everybody will have heard of him.
No.
So just kind of give a bit of a brief of who he is and what he does, and actually what he did last year.
Well, I tell you what, you crack on.
Oh, all right. He so obviously he's a road racer, as Russell Road Racing kind of implies. Yep. But last year he became the first person ever. But I want to make sure I've got this right, so you might have to double check this. But he was the first person ever to race in every class in the Isle of Man TT.
That's correct, yeah. And
in like one week, he raced in every class.
He must not have had any room to breathe.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, it's not like he's riding for a massive team where they can afford to, like he's a privateer.
Yeah.
He's done that as a privateer, which I think, and it didn't get much mention. I think there's like a few articles in newspapers and stuff, but not. I don't think it got the coverage it deserved. But yeah, it'd be really good to have him on the show. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be when I'm not here.
Yeah.
But
you can put some. You can give us some questions to ask anyway.
I'll give some questions, and if anybody else wants to give any questions, podcast at bigbadbs.co.uk.
Definitely.
But he's a really nice bloke,
yeah,
and it'd be good to have him on the show.
I'm so excited to see the stickers that I've got made up on his sidecar. It'd just be so cool.
Yeah,
it'd be really, really cool.
We need to get some and put it on our Facebook group.
What's that?
Some pictures of the stickers on his bikes.
Yeah, we will do. So hopefully...
it's very kind of him to do that, by the way. It's basically like free sponsorship.
That is massively, yeah. But that's what I mean. He's just a top lad. Yeah. And it's going to be really cool to have him on the show to actually have a TT rider on. It's awesome.
And if anybody is listening to this that is a bit of an investor or has a business, give him a sponsor. Just, get your name on his bike.
Buy a hoodie.
Buy a hoodie.
I still haven't received my hoodie yet. I'm starting to get a bit worried now. So yeah, that brings us into the last part, which is the BSB. Well, I'll let you take over on that as well.
Okie dokie. Well, I'm not going to cover on this too much because it was last week, but so obviously we covered the sprint race and qualifying and all that, but we recorded on the Sunday, and obviously the two second and third races on the Monday. So the second race, Tommy Bridewell won, which was a very strong performance. Glenn Irwin was second, Leon Haslam third. And the third race, Glenn Irwin won, Leon Haslam second, and Kyle Ride third. But my pick for the weekend was probably Leon Haslam. I thought he had a really good weekend. He's the only rider really in that group that hasn't won yet. But I think he's had a really good start to the season.
Yes.
Considering he basically made that team sort of last minute.
And he's on a BMW.
I think he's done really well. But I've got to say, Jason O'Halloran is not having a great start to his season. He's down in 7th, which he wouldn't have wanted that.
No.
But Glenn Irwin's now leading the championship on 91 points. And Josh Brooks and Tommy Bridewell, second and third, both on 87. But going back to a comment you said earlier, how BSB is a young man's game, I was just thinking of the riders. So you got Glenn Irwin, he's not young, but he's not old. You got Tommy Bridewell, who's quite old. Jason O'Halloran, quite old. Peter Hickman, quite old. Josh Brooks, quite old. Leon Haslam, don't know if I've already mentioned him. The only one really who's young and doing really well is Kyle Ride.
He's actually a really good rider.
So actually, if anything, I'd say it's probably an old man's game.
It's an old man's game.
Yes.
Oh, I'll speak to my dad, get him to join up. He's not allowed to race anymore, actually. Yeah.
Why?
Because
he
had heart surgery. He's had a heart valve replacement.
Oh, of course.
And because he takes warfarin to thin the blood, if he comes off and has a bad off, he's just going to bleed to death. So he's not allowed to.
My granddad used to have to take warfarin and stuff.
But he does have a track bike. So even though he's not allowed to race, there's nothing saying he can't have a track day. So he's got a really, really nice Ninja 600 ZX6R, which is zooped up the fuck. And he takes that and just does it like he would race anyway.
Yes. I mean, to be honest, if I could ride a bike, which obviously I can't, I wouldn't ride on the road. I'd just do track days.
Well, why don't you then?
Because it costs money on buying a house.
Well, yeah, but you could get yourself a cheap track bike, trailer, get it hooked on back at Fiesta, Focus.
Right, you're doing that stupid Yorkshire accent again. But also, it's not just doing that. The nearest racetrack, really, to us is Knockhill, and that's 4 hours away. It's an 8-hour round trip.
4 hours.
It's not cheap.
It's 3.
Well, it is. It's 3.5.
It's not 3.5, it's 3.
3 hours, 7 minutes. So basically 4 hours.
3 hours, 7 minutes? How is that 4 hours?
Well, it's over 3 hours, isn't it? So we'll just call it 4.
Oh.
Anyway.
What?
Okay, it's still 3 hours away.
Yeah. You just camp
It's a
out.
6-hour
camp
round
out,
trip.
Track or whatever.
I'm not camping.
God.
You sent me, right, this week, you said, let's cancel the hotel. I found a second-hand tent for 100 quid. And I bet it stunk of BO and wet dog, and I bet there's like burn marks in it. I bet it stunk of campfire smoke.
That had 3 separate rooms in it. We could have had a room for all our stuff.
Yeah, it looks good, but you can't smell it over Facebook.
Do you remember when we picked up my sofa?
Oh my god, that stunk, man, of Chinese food.
Yeah, but I couldn't smell it because I don't have a sense of smell. You said nothing to me, so I'm loading it into the car.
Yeah, I let you buy it and then told you how bad it smelled.
Cheers for that. Have
welcome.
we got anything else to chat about, really?
Not really, we could just chat BS for ages,
Yeah,
but
we could do, but I don't think people
will
want
people
to hear
listen to that?
It's
Yeah.
been a pretty short episode this week, to be fair.
Oh, we've still got, what, an hour and 20? It's
Yeah.
not terribly
I
short.
suppose.
Only 10 or 20 minutes
next
less
week
than
we've
usual.
got the MotoGP how are you pronouncing it? Le Mans.
Well, go on, you say it first.
Le Mans.
That's not how you said it originally, but yes,
Right.
Le Mans.
Le Mans circuit in France, and I'm really looking forward to that because out of all of them at the moment, I think the MotoGP's got me more hooked than anything else.
Yeah,
It's the only
or
one
the
where
BSB.
it's a bit unpredictable.
Well, not really. I'd say British Superbike is probably the most
Well,
unpredictable.
yeah, but I'd like to say I still need to properly get into that.
Yeah. Obviously, we've got the Northwest 200 on at the minute. I haven't seen any of it yet.
Well, your
but I
sister's
think
currently
there's-
there, isn't she?
She is.
With Michael
yeah, she sent a
Dunlop.
couple of videos. Yes. Yes, she is. But I think it's on BBC. I'm sure you can find out online how to watch it. But yeah, I'm sure it's on BBC
Well, I
at some
can't
point
watch
this
the
week.
BBC, so.
We'll just pay for a
I'm not
TV
paying
license.
For a TV
then.
license. Not a chance.
Well, don't watch it then.
Well, I won't. So
Yeah.
I suppose that just leaves us to plug the socials. Do you want to have a go this week, Chippy? You never do socials.
I've never done the
Why
socials.
don't you have a go? Have a crack at
Okay.
it.
It's going to feel like an honour, this
Go on
is. Right. So, if you would like to get in touch with us, you can email podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. Find us on YouTube. Just search The Big Bad Bike Show. Twitter is @TheBigBadBS. Instagram is The Big Bad Bike Show with hyphens in between each word. Facebook, just search The Big Bad Bike Show. We've got a Facebook page and a Facebook group. The group is where people interact more. It's probably our biggest thing. If you would like to follow us individually, Sam has got Twitter @SoberGasano, which is very strange. Very strange name. Ash is on Instagram, is the Up North Biker with underscores between. And I'm on Twitter @C_Ballard90, which I still haven't changed yet because nobody's given me a good idea to change my name to.
Ballend.
And just going back to Michael Russell, if you want to check out his progress on his bikes, just look up Russell Road Racing on Facebook and Instagram and give him some support because he's a good friend of the show.
He is.
And hopefully we'll hear from him soon. And hopefully you'll hear from me soon because I might not be here for the next few weeks, but I'm sure Sam and Ash will keep everybody entertained. And I just want to put this out there now that Marc Marquez is the GOAT. End of. I won't hear anything else.
Rossi is the goat.
Because I know they're just going to slate Marc Marquez for the next
No,
few
that's
weeks.
not going to happen.
It probably will.
Ah.
But yeah, that's all from me, I think.
Right, well, yeah, I suppose that's it then.
That is
so
it.
That's Sithy from me.
What?
Sithy.
Oh, actually, just before we go, the very last thing.
What?
Ash has finally started to learn how to edit the show. So hopefully he'll be doing it soon.
I don't think
However,
I will
this
be.
week...
I think I'm just a massive backup. If it really, really can't be done by anybody else, I'll do it.
Well, I think this week it's going to be me again, which is great because I've got 2 days off before I end up doing like 4 96-hour weeks in a row. But anyway.
Oh, why did you cry about it?
Well, I'm going to cry about it.
Sithy is it's just a way you say goodbye in Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
It's like see you later, Sithy later, Sithy.
God almighty.
So, Sithy.
Goodbye.